We'll call to order the City of Douglasville City Council Legislative Work Session for tonight, which is July the 29th. We will have our invocation by Pastor Henry Greenridge of Trinity World Christian Center. After that, our Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Councilmember Howard Estes. Please stand for the invocation.
Good evening, Mayor Robinson and esteemed council members. One of my favorite verses in the Bible says, "In everything give thanks, for this is the will of God for you." Giving thanks and expressing gratitude is one of the oldest concepts in society. It reminds us of how special, beautiful, and blessed our lives are, even when we are faced with challenging, stressful, and overwhelming situations. The concept of gratitude is especially important in the midst of a pandemic like COVID-19, when the world around us is unpredictable and sometimes even dangerous. Robert Emmons, a psychologist and world expert on gratitude, defines gratitude as the ability to recognize the goodness in your life, which is due to your surroundings as well as the actions of another person or a group of people. Being grateful is a virtuous quality that allows you to not only see the best in other people, but in your own life. Philippians 4:6 says, "Don't worry about anything. Instead, pray about everything. Tell God what you need and thank Him for all He has done." Former Olympic skier Peekaboo Street donated money to a local hospital. In gratitude, the hospital named their emergency ward after her. It's now the Peekaboo ICU. My wife, Kathy, and I used to take care of our niece's 12-month-old son who could barely speak. And every morning we would put him in the high chair and give him something to eat and finish it off with bananas, which he loved. And with gratitude in his eyes, he'd look up at us and say, "Tattoo, tattoo." So in conclusion, I said, look back and be grateful. Look ahead and be hopeful. Look around and be helpful. Let us pray. Lord, we invite you into our proceedings tonight. May each of us be filled with gratitude and thanksgiving. And all of God's people said, amen. To the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilman Estes, for leading us in the pledge, and Pastor Greenidge for always giving us something humorous to think about as you've led us in our invocation. We appreciate that. I'll go through the announcements and presentations, and then we will follow our agenda, which is printed on the screen, or there are hard copies outside on the desk before you enter into the council chambers. I would like to welcome you to the City of Douglasville City Council Legislative Work Session. This is a work session where agenda items are presented for discussion and no official action will be taken tonight. My name is Rochelle Robinson. I'm Mayor of the City of Douglasville. We appreciate you coming. The items will be discussed tonight, and we'll vote on those items next Monday at our voting meeting. Tonight, if the business you are not that's listed here is not on the agenda, we ask that you would come to speak to us for citizens and delegates. There's plenty of time, ample time under that agenda item for you to discuss your business. You'll have 5 minutes to talk to us. So after the agenda is completed and you have information that's not on our agenda, our official agenda, you can certainly come to the podium and give us your name and address for the record, and then you have 5 minutes to discuss any business that is germane to the City of Douglasville. There are just a few protocol items I'd like to go over to let you know how the meeting will be run tonight, and then we will jump right into the agenda. I'd ask that you would please keep your comments and presentations on a professional level, dealing with the facts that are important for this governing body to make our decisions. We will not accept comments that are considered by the chair to be of a personal attack on any individual or group of individuals. You will receive a warning from the chair, and if you deviate from this warning a second time, we will discontinue you having a conversation by turning the mic off. One person only speaking at a time, please. Please do not applaud or react to the speakers or speak from the audience or be disruptive in any way to the meeting. I remind you that we are only required to accept public comments during required public hearings for zoning matters. If you have a cell phone or electronic device, if you don't mind, please put those in silent mode or turn those off until after the meeting so that they will not be disruptive. Now, this is how the agenda will be handled tonight. The committee chairperson will read the agenda item. Then that person representing the agenda item or applicant will make his or her presentation, and that will be your only opportunity to present to us. Myself and council members will possibly ask questions, clarifying questions to help us make our decision next Monday during the voting meeting. After that, the committee chairperson will ask for comments or statements from the audience if it's a zoning matter. There are 20 minutes in totality, 20 minutes for those in favor, 20 minutes for those in opposition for the agenda item, and each person has 5 minutes to speak. If you have more than the allotted 4 or 5 people, then you can delineate your time or divide 3 minutes or so. But in total, it's 20 minutes for those to speak for and 20 minutes for those in opposition. And there are cards that you should have filled out if you would like to speak. There's speaker cards on the desk. You'll fill those cards out with your name and address for the record, and hand those cards to our city clerk, Ms. Vicki Acker, to my right. So prior to approaching the podium, please fill that card out and then come forward. Each person only has 1 opportunity to speak. This is not a question and answer format or debate. We're just here to receive your information, deliberate, and make our decisions next week. Our policy is that if you have any printed material, we ask that you would please give that to the city clerk, and she will distribute that information to the council members. I know that's a whole lot of talking, so hopefully you've gotten the directives for the meeting tonight. Now we will do an announcement, and this announcement is actually a proclamation, and it is to present a proclamation to Mayors Todd Ireland and Wynn Rochelle honoring the 100 Black men of Douglasville Incorporated, committed to the youth in Douglasville and their honorable service to the community. I will read the proclamation, and then the person that is here to receive it can come forward and make any comments, and then I believe we would want to take a picture, or you all we'd be honored to take a picture with you. We have several representatives in the audience tonight from 100 Black Men. Office of the Mayor, Rochelle Robinson Proclamation. Whereas 100 Black Men of Douglasville Incorporated was chartered on March the 13th, 2020, with the mission to improve the quality of lives by enhancing the education and economic development of its community, specifically focusing on young Black boys, men, and whereas the mission is fulfilled by serving as a beacon of leadership by creating environmentals where children and young adults are motivated to achieve and empowered to become self-sufficient shareholders in the community. And whereas the 100 Black Men of Douglasville have already woven themselves into the fabric of Douglasville's community, in the short time they have been chartered, they have demonstrated their commitment to their mission and to the community in which they serve. And whereas they have a strong presence in Douglas County school system by hosting programs like their Real Men Read program at Sweetwater Elementary. They have developed a virtual STEM Saturday programs for 5th graders and have created a mentoring program to teach financial literacy, health and wellness, leadership, and basic life skills. They also have partnered with the Douglasville Police Department's Youth Against Violence program, among many other collaborations. And whereas July 18th, 2021, the 100 Black Men of Douglasville held a virtual pinning ceremony to confirm their new charter members. And now, therefore, I, Rochelle Robinson, Mayor of the City of Douglasville, and on behalf of the Douglasville City Council and the citizens of the City of Douglasville, do hereby acknowledge, celebrate, and honor 100 Black Men of Douglasville Incorporated's commitment to the youth in Douglasville and their honorable service to the community. So proclaimed this 29th day of July 2021. Let's please give them a hand for service. Is there a representative that would like to come forward and speak? And then we'll have everyone come forward and take a picture. And Chief, you can say something too if you want to with Youth Against Violence. Putting you on the spot. Please give us your name and address for the record.
My name is Todd Ireland.
Yes, sir.
Greetings, Mayor Rochelle Robinson and the City Council members. On behalf of the 100 Black Men of America, with our chairman, Thomas W. Dorsch, Jr., on behalf of the man behind me from the 100 Black Men of Douglasville Incorporated, we thank you very much for this proclamation. And because I tend to be a little wordy, as my wife says, I'm going to just go ahead and pass the mic to my vice president, who has something to offer you.
Thank you so much.
Win Rochelle, please.
Thank you, Mayor Robinson.
I like your name. Your name is Rochelle, like me?
Win Rochelle,
That's what I'm talking about, like New
Brookmont
Rochelle, New York.
Subdivision.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
indeed. A proud member of this community, and thank you all councilmen and women. We appreciate all that you do for this community and for the efforts that we put forth as well.
Yes,
So on behalf of the 100 Black Men of Douglasville, we certainly would like to present to you also, Mayor Robinson,
Oh, wow.
a token of our gratitude. And it reads, "The Honorable Rochelle Robinson, Mayor, City of Douglasville, with appreciation for your support of our mentoring and community engagement programs during our pinning ceremony, July 18th, 2021.
Thank you
So
so
thank
very
you.
much. That is so kind. And I would like to show appreciation to you all for the feeding. What day was that we had those boxes of fresh food? It was at Hunter Park, and then we distributed those boxes. April? Well, we can't remember, but how many boxes of food were? 1,000 boxes of food. So thank you so much. And we dropped some off at Councilmember Davis and Councilmember Burdanley, and so they distributed those foods. But we really appreciate those big 18-wheeler trucks coming with all the fresh fruits and vegetables and chickens and meat, so we really appreciate that. Let's give them a hand, and once I'll come forward, we'll take the. Thank you. Chief, you have anything to say as they support youth against violence?
Well, I appreciate them for coming by and being mentors and to the youth in our program. They're very vital to our young men, seeing men that's doing something that's worthwhile with their lives, and they've been. So these guys really come in and they sit down and talk with our young people, and so we appreciate them. Yeah, I told them they over there looking like the craft.
All right. They're like men in black. But I have a young son, and it is really vital to have mentors in the community, not only my husband and his cousins and uncles, but to have someone that he knows is looking out for him, and that parents can have assurance that there are other men in the community looking out for them as well, and not to slight any other races, but, particularly for African Americans, when there are so many things in the community and in the world against, men, and with this resurgence of police stops and all those things, we really appreciate you all partnering with the police department to educate and to help alleviate that stigma for Douglasville, Douglas County, because that's not something that we really have an issue with, but just in general, that you will help the young people so that when they go out to college and wherever they go, that they'll have a positive impression of the police department and for African American men. So thank you so much for what you do. I know you're part of a huge conglomerate all over the country. How many members are 100 Black Men in America?
It's over 100 chapters worldwide, including London, so it might be close to 10,000 members.
Yes, sir. So thank you. And I know you're on college campuses as well, so.
That's correct, Collegiate 100.
Yes, sir. So we'll come around and take a photo. And if anyone wants to say anything, Councilman Davis, I know you have some family members and close friends in the group.
Yes, ma'am, Madam Mayor, thank you. They have been such a blessing out, and I think you have on your radar, child, Stewart Middle School in Ward 2.
That is correct.
Good. And Randolph, raise your hand. Family member, Douglasville. All right, thank y'all.
All right. Thank you so much. We'll come around and take a photo and present the proclamations.
y'all could scoot over this way a little bit. Yeah, perfect. Okay. Perfect. Okay.
Patrice, you got a lot of stuff on this thing.
Okay. So now we will go on, following our agenda. And Economic Development Committee is led by Mayor Pro Tem. I'm trying to see who the vice chair is. I'll ask Councilman Davis to take that committee, please. Economic Development Committee.
Yes, ma'am. At this time, we have no business. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You're welcome. Thank you, Councilman Davis. We'll move on then to Finance Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Mark Adams.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We
You're
have
welcome.
4 items tonight to discuss. First is adopt City of Douglasville's debt policy, investment policy, and long-term planning policy 2021 as the city's finance department policies. Ms. Callen.
Yes, Karen Callen, Finance Director, 6695 Church Street. We discussed these at the 5 o'clock committee meeting in detail. These 3 policies will help us get a better report from our rating agency.
Thank you, Ms. Callen. You know, I see now already that I really messed up during the 5 o'clock meeting. I was asking for things to be placed on the consent agenda, and I was in the wrong meeting. We're going to have to go back to the boardroom for our 5 o'clock. I get all confused here. But Ms. Callen has already discussed with us in the 5 o'clock committee's meetings what this will do for us, and basically it's a housekeeping item so that we have in writing adopted and signed basically what we're already practicing. So I would ask if it pleases the group that we do place this on the consent agenda for Monday, if there are no questions or comments. Don't let me get ahead. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Ms. Callen. We'll move on to item B. Stay right there. Adopt an ordinance to adopt the City of Douglasville's fiscal year 2021-22 ARPA Local Fiscal Recovery Fund budget. Ms. Callen?
Yes, sir. We received our first of 2 installments of our funding for the American Rescue Plan Act. It was $6,346,924. So we'll receive the next installment next year at this time.
Thank you, ma'am. We also discussed this at our 5 o'clock committee's meetings. And as I had mentioned then, that's almost like just a gift of $6 million. And I think the requirement that we have is to sign an ordinance and open an account for that particular fund, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any questions or comments?
And we'll receive, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, we'll receive an equal amount at this time next year.
That's what we're told, yes. Uh-huh.
Thank you.
Again, I would see no reason why we would not place this on the consent agenda for Monday night, if that is agreeable with the group. If there's no other questions or comments. Okay, thank you. We're going to have a short meeting on Monday. C, adopt a resolution to authorize the city's acceptance of the funds distributed pursuant to the American Rescue Plan Act for a total of $12,693,848, and that is to be dispersed in 2 phases. Ms. Callen?
Yes, sir. Yes, this is a resolution required by the Treasury to receive these funds.
Basically the same as item B, except we have to have a resolution to adopt that. Any questions or comments? I'd like to ask that item C be placed on the consent agenda, if there are no other questions or concerns. All right, item D, authorize the mayor to sign an agreement with Bartow Paving Company Incorporated for road resurfacing for the 2020-21 Lmig completion project, RFB 2021-004. Thank you, Ms. Callen. Mr. Greg Roberts will handle that item for us.
Yes, Greg Roberts with the Public Services Department, and citizens can reach me at sanitation@douglasvillega.gov. This is the Lmig 2020 and 2021 resurfacing project for the city of Douglasville. We had 5 bids, as we discussed earlier, and that's all public record. I have recommended that Bartow Paving Incorporated out of Cartersville for selection for the contractor, and they have provided a total bid for $1,537,162.78. And for the record, for those that might not understand that, to the public, this is a bid on quantities based on tonnages and gallons and linear feet. So depending on how that goes down, would make a difference in that overall cost. But I think over the years you guys have, you realize that I'm extremely conservative on the upper end with those estimates, and so we'll keep a close check on it during the project so that it does not exceed this amount.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. I see that our project budget, our planning budget was $1.636 million for that, and we actually came in about $100,000 less than that, and I think you'd provided us with those numbers, those prospective costs that we thought we would come in at, correct?
Yes, sir, and there would have been a little more space between those 2 numbers had we not been hit with higher petroleum prices over the last few months.
Okay. You all have on page 2, you have the bids and you have the recommendation of city staff. Are there any questions or comments? Okay. Mr. Roberts, thank you. Seeing none, then we'll take this up on Monday night. And that's all that we have tonight, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. Excuse me, Mr. Adams and Mr. Roberts and Ms. Callen. We'll move on then to the next committee, which is item number 7, is Housing and Community Affairs Committee. I think the vice chair is Councilman. Is that you, Councilman Adams?
I have no idea, but I'll handle it.
I know me either.
Item 7.
Yes, sir.
We have no business tonight under Housing and Community Affairs. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much, Councilman Adams. We'll move on then to Legislative and Intergovernmental Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Samuel Davis.
Yes, sir, Madam
Bless you,
Mayor.
Chief.
I have a couple of items. I'll start with item A, adopt the referendum ordinance, notice of election and other applicable documents regarding the November 2nd, 2021 referendum for Jesse Davis Park General Obligation Bond. Ms. Callen.
Yes, sir.
Thank you,
Karen-
ma'am.
Thank you. Karen Callen, Finance Director, 6695 Church Street. On May 17th, Marcus Thompson, our city engineer, presented the Jesse Davis Park plan. Then on June 7th, Bill Camp with Raymond James came out to discuss the election schedule, which is what you have attached. So we are in our referendum resolution section of the election schedule. And the resolution details call for election, what's going to be on the ballot, the maximum terms on the debt. And that is also attached.
Okay, Mayor and Council. We need everyone to put the word out November the 2nd, because this is very important. Obligation bond, please. That's all I have. Madam Mayor, can I put this on the consent agenda for Monday?
I don't know if you, council members, pleasure. They said, so I would say just put it up for a
Okay, we'll
vote.
just rehash it on Monday. And
Okay.
thank you, Ms. Callen. That's all I have for that item.
Okay,
Moving on to item B, authorize payments of the expense for the registration costs and reasonable travel expense for the Mayor Pro Tem, Terry Miller, Councilman Sam Davis to attend the 2021 Annual Conference for the National League of Cities in amount consistent with those established in the administration ordinance for pre-approved training event. So any of the council members that would be interested in attending the NLC, have to see the mayor and Miss Assistant Manager Chelsea, and it's open for discussion.
yes, sir.
Mayor and Council, I'll go ahead and add that Mayor Pro Tem and Councilman Adams, they both have requested to attend the NLC conference. Councilman Davis. Councilman Davis and Mayor Pro Tem Miller, my apologies. They have $8,000 budget in this year's travel and training budget. In the ordinance that you have attached, it is not a pre-approved travel or training expense, so therefore it has to come before Mayor and Council in order to be approved.
Okay, and I know that last year, they had some resources for training that was able to come back into their budget.
Yes, ma'am. So at your first budget amendment, which will be in a couple of months, it'll be $2,000 that'll be placed into everyone's budget in order to cover GMA, because GMA will be taken out twice this fiscal year just because the way it falls in August and then next year in June. So everyone will have about $10,000 to spend for this year.
Okay, so it won't be over budgeted if any council members opt to attend National Leagues of Cities. And this is already pre-approved on my list of training, so I was planning on attending as well. The president for the National Leagues of Cities all over the country is going to be from Georgia, Mayor Vince Williams from Union City. And so he's asked for a group of mayors to come to support him and to help cities all over the country, but really to look at, of course, since he's there, to look at Georgia cities as well. So since he called and asked me personally, and I have it on my pre-approved list, I plan on attending as well.
And I do believe, Chelsea, that we are a member now of the NLC.
Yes, sir. The city of Douglasville is a member of National League of Cities.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. And he asked me to reaffirm or just restate that all those resources that are coming from the federal government was pushed by the National Leagues of Cities to help cities in the United States to receive those resources for the CARES Act, and the first group of monies that we received as well was from the National Leagues of Cities organization. So,
Okay, thank you. Anyone
welcome.
else?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, just want to make sure, and I believe Ms. Jackson has clarified it. So these funds for you and for the Mayor Pro Tem to attend that National League of Cities event would be taken out of your travel and training budget. In other words, there are sufficient monies there. It's not additional monies that we're having to allocate, correct?
That's correct. It'll be taken out of the money that's budgeted for this year.
Okay. Thank you. No problem. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, if this council, can I put it on the consent agenda for Monday?
it
Okay.
looks like heads are bowing yes.
Okay, thank you all, and that's all I have, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. We'll move on then to item number 9, which is Personnel and Organization Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Chris Watts.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business tonight in Personnel and Organization.
Thank you so much, Councilman Watts. We'll move on then to Planning and Development Committee, and that's chaired by Councilmember Mark Adams.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have
You're
one item
welcome.
tonight under Planning and Development. Adopt an ordinance to de-annex approximately 17.248 acres on Bright Star Road located land lot 158, District 2, Section 5, and Parcel 72, parcel ID number 01580250072. Application by Marsan Douglasville LLC and Marsan Douglas Co. LLC. Stephen G. Horn, manager. Ms. Williams and Ms. Woodward.
Thank you, Chairman Adams. The applicant is with us tonight, so we will have them present this item.
Okay. Please come forward, give us your name and address for the record, Mr. Schaefer, and
Phil Schaefer,
love to hear from you.
Zoning Administrator, Douglas County, 8700 Hospital Drive. Madam Mayor, Chairman Adams, this was kind of a Rubik's Cube. When I received a letter it's been several weeks now, for zoning verification on 68 acres on the west side of Bright Star, I realized that was going to be for an annexation. They don't say those when the letters come in, but I knew that's what that was. So I immediately alerted the applicant that annexing the 68 acres on the west side of Bright Star would orphan 9 properties in the county and therefore couldn't be accomplished because it would be illegal under the state statute to leave the city surrounding those 9 properties. In that case, the only other option was to have the developer redesign what was going on the property, and we offered to allow them to come to the county and rezone the county property, let them come to you and rezone the city property, and try to develop it as a cross-jurisdictional development where we don't need to, you put one part on the city property so it's completely contained and the rest on the county property. The developer realized that was not tenable because of the proximity of the quarry to Bright Star. It's not very deep, along with the pipeline that runs through the south end of the property. So the bottom line is the developer decided that the only way they could bring to fruition their concept was to take the 17 acres in the city and bring it back out into the county and rezone all of it to light industrial for a 78-acre project. It represents a 400,000 square foot building and 2 120,000 square foot buildings on the west side of Bright Star. And when they came to us, we gave them the petition to de-annex because we had that paperwork is available. It's kind of a unique process. It doesn't happen very often in Georgia, maybe 1 or 2 times a year where this comes up. I felt it was important to bring it, having worked for you all for a while, I felt it was very important to bring it to you so that you could make the statement, first, do you want to de-annex to allow the property to be developed? But secondly, and more important for me, was so each of you could say to me as the zoning administrator for the county what you want developed along that side of the road. Because that property is now for sale, it's owned, it could be developed. I would have the responsibility for 68 acres while you have the responsibility for 17 acres. But I wanted to make sure, given what we've been doing out on Bright Star in terms of buildings, what do you want to see there? That's just for me. For the applicant, of course, who's got their representation here, it's can we please move forward with the project with the realization sometime down the road that whole area would probably be annexed into the city eventually anyway. That's a given, maybe 10 years from now, 5 years, nobody knows for sure. But at some point, you don't want these jagged edges between city and county. So that's what usually happens. Anyway, I'm bringing you the de-annexation resolution, and I'm explaining it to you this evening because there's an issue. The project is large enough that it has to go to a development of regional impact review. So there'll be a 90-day lapse. If you all feel comfortable de-annexing 17 acres, it won't have zoning on it in the county for at least 90 days because we cannot act until the ARC makes its findings on the DRI report, and we're stuck. And the resolution, as you see, contains language that prevents the developer from building permit requests or applications of any kind for that period of time, just so that both our sides can be comfortable knowing nothing will happen on the land till the DRI is done. Then they will come to the county commissioners for rezoning all 70 acres. That's kind of it in a nutshell. I'm sure you'll have questions, but that's our take on the Rubik's Cube. I'm sorry.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Schaefer. Let me ask a couple of questions, and I'll open the floor. First of all, identify for us in layman's terms where this property sits logistically.
Logistically, it's the west side of Bright Star, and it's the property, the 17 acres proper, is at the termination of Bright Star Connector at Bright Star.
So it would back up to the rock quarry?
It backs up, most all the property backs up to the quarry, exactly.
Okay. And what is the current zoning in the county?
Residential.
And what is the current zoning in the city?
Commercial.
Okay. The moratorium that's mentioned in this resolution, basically, as you've already mentioned, I believe, is to protect both of us during the time that you're at ARC trying to get approval for DRI.
Right.
Okay. So that no one could just walk in, buy that property, and use it for whatever they desire because there'd be no zoning on it.
Because there'd be no zoning.
During that time.
Correct.
I agree with you in what you've mentioned, Mr. Schaefer, in that I've been here 9+ years, and I don't know we've ever done a de-annexation.
Right. Very unusual.
It's very unusual.
Yeah.
Okay. Questions, comments of council? Madam Mayor, go ahead.
I do. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for coming in. It's good to see you, Phil. Always good to see your tartan, to see what colors you have on this evening. But I wanted to know, and since you were saying something about a de-annexation, and you did long-term, not just, checkers for playing chess and maybe forecasting what's going to happen in the future, why don't everything just get annexed into the city now?
Well, the issue for them was in order to annex the 68 acres in the county, you would have left, there's 9 properties at the north end of this that are still in the county. Everything around it right now is city except what's in the county. And that's the only contact that those 9 properties have with county jurisdiction.
Okay.
So if you take that out, they're orphaned, they're surrounded completely by city. And under the state statutes, you're not allowed to annex that way. It's not illegal.
Okay.
And that was the only reason we couldn't figure out how to do it any other way but to just allow you to say whether or not you wanted to de-annex and go from there. I guess I should point out that if you vote no, of course, they'll have to redesign and there won't be the development that, as you see it pictured, that'll have to be redesigned because there's no way to do cross-jurisdictional development the way our codes are written. It's very difficult. So I guess this is really both a request from the applicant to say, can we please do the development at the scale and layout that you see, along with my request that you tell me what you really do want to see over there, since we still have to rezone it at some point to someone, for someone, this development or for someone else. And my guess is, considering when I was working for you, that most everything between Bright Star and 5 is industrial or heavy commercial, it seemed like that was always going to be an industrial node for the city. So everything on the west edge of Bright Star, you really wouldn't want to put houses there. It's right next to the quarry, so it does not fit. Those are really incompatible land uses. That's the only reason I say that eventually the city would probably annex some of this because it doesn't make sense to leave all these jagged edges around city-county interface.
Right.
Okay.
And I guess for the future, Mr. Chairman, it would be whatever is delineated on our future land use map. If it's not commercial or industrial or IL or whatever, it is currently there. I don't think we can specifically say, I know that was your question, but not to open up the floodgates for conjecture or whatever people are going to conjecture to see what we're going to have. So just whatever the future land use map says, it's probably something within that, they meet those requirements and come and submit their application, and then we can vote it up or down.
And so just to further your point, both the city and the county have this area future land use mapped as very high intensity. Not the highest, but workforce, workplace center, or commerce center. It is high on that category of intensity.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes. Other questions, Council?
Chairman.
Yes, Coach.
I've been trying to articulate this question in my head before I ask it. Usually something, this type of development, we would have a public hearing if we were being approached for a warehouse on this piece of property. So I guess what I'm asking is, because this annexation would lead to that type of development, there won't be any public hearing until it gets to that phase, I guess.
Well, I would assume if we de-annex it, it would be a public hearing before the county. The city would not be involved.
Okay.
So it's just a reverse. We would be basically giving up our control over the property and our collection of property taxes over that 17 acres. But it brings up another question. We don't see a development plan. We don't have any idea what, and Mr. Fowler may be the one that's going to introduce that in a minute or so. That's great. But what if that plan changes? If we just say, yes, we'll de-annex, then what happens if all of a sudden the development changes and it's something else comes out that we really would not have been in support of?
And hence my asking you, do you want to see, because there's a 400,000 square foot warehouse proposed that straddles the city-county boundary, and there's a 120,000 square foot warehouse to the south of it and a 120,000 square foot warehouse to the north of it. That's the development plan I saw. So that is pretty much all that will fit. But again, I know you all went through a little something on Bright Star Connector on recently, so I would prefer that you say that is kind of what we want to see. We don't want to see more. We don't want to see anything different. If that's what you want, that should be in your resolution or ordinance, rather, to de-annex. This development plan is what we would like to see, and the county will, you have my word, I will take that into consideration in the staff report. At the very least, it'll come up in public hearing. And as you mentioned, it will be a public hearing because we'll have to rezone all the property. We just can't act on the rezoning till the Atlanta Regional Commission gives us the Development of Regional Impact report. So that's our 90-day window that we can't do anything in.
Okay. Others? Questions, comments? Does that satisfy you, Coach? Okay, so I'm assuming Mr. Fowler is going to introduce us to a development plan, or at least give us information about it. I don't see anything in our packet here that would give us any information, and I may be behind here.
No,
Joe
it's not,
Fowler,
we don't
Post
have
Office
anything.
Box 49,
We don't have
Douglasville.
anything.
Excuse me, I interrupted.
Go ahead,
I thought
Mr.
I had
Fowler.
feedback. Excuse me. We initially filed the rezoning application to come into the city on June the 2nd, 2021. The rationale in that, in part, was because the very type of use that is proposed for this tract west of Bright Star is across the street. That was done by the property owner that now owns the land along the Bright Star connector. And Phil pointed out the Rubik's Cube. When we looked at it, maybe my office somehow or another should have known that at the top of the hill were 9 tiny little parcels that are still in the city. We did not. What we recognized was this project could not go forward in the city, so that it would be a twin of sorts of what was going on across the street, right there by Woods Road. So we talked about the only possible way to deal with these properties. They've been on the market. The substantial part of these have been commercial for decades, and nobody's picked up anything because of the proximity to the quarry, as was noted a bit ago. And so industrial users came along because of what they saw springing up in that immediate area. And this was the problem, and I have multiples of these that I can bring by the city tomorrow so you can see them. Everything that's colored is in the city. The Bright Star connector comes in right here. That's where Bright Star connector comes in, and this is the city portion. There's the 120,000. It's just approaching 500,000 square feet here, and then 120,000 down here. And so the development was essentially impossible as it was. It could have scooted up to the north a little bit, but right there is a corridor with waterways, and that gives rise to the question of a variance. And so what we thought about was, on behalf of the developer, was the possibility of de-annexing. And that is what brought up the Rubik's Cube, and that's what brings us here tonight. The developer is interested in doing similar construction like that across the street, but our hands are tied. A solution is the city could annex those 9 parcels at the top of the hill, and then we'd just refile the application we'd already prepared. If that's not going to happen, then we respectfully, with all due respect for the council, ask the city to allow this to be de-annexed so it can go forward. That's sort of the history, and that's what brings us here. And we certainly appreciate the cooperation of your staff, and then, of course, Mr. Schaefer, who's helped us try to figure out how to make all the colors end up on one side of the Rubik's Cube. I'll bring this to the council first thing in
Thank
the
you,
morning.
Mr. Fowler. Appreciate that. Are there other questions, council? Madam Mayor? Okay, so we'll take this up on Monday, and we appreciate you all and your input. Madam Mayor, that's all that we have tonight under planning and development.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Schaefer and Mr. Fowler. We'll move on then to the next committee, which is Public Improvement and Beautification Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Nicole Miller.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business this evening.
Thank you so much. We'll move on then to item 12, which is Public Relations Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Howard Estes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The PR Committee has no business this evening.
Thank you so much, sir. We'll move on then. Item 13, we do have business, and that is Public Safety Committee, chaired by Councilmember Samuel Davis.
Yes, ma'am, Madam Mayor. I have several ADE. I'll start off with item A, authorize the mayor to sign an agreement with Bartow, Inc. to provide simulated firearm equipment system and training services to the Douglasville Police Department. Chief Spars, thank you.
Yeah, Madam Mayor and Council, this is a budgeted item. It's to improve our officers' training, virtual training. Some of you may have went down to our FATS room where we put different type scenarios on the wall so our officers can come in there and go through these different scenarios which help their decision-making processes when they're out there on the street. This system is, we would be renting the equipment, we won't own it, and it's they maintenance and training, and they keep new scenarios constantly. The one we have now is just outdated. This is, you know, this part of technology and is ever changing, and this is going to make us, I think, a lot better. And then we can utilize this in some of our community forums as well, so that people can get to see how tough it is out there to make some of these split decisions. So, so this is, it's, like I said, it's budgeted, and we looking forward to training with it.
Could everyone hear him?
No, Chief, I was going to
Chief,
ask
pull
you to
the
speak
mic.
in the mic for, you know, the audience. And
Thank you.
I know you don't want to do that whole speech again.
Okay, I try. It's a budgeted item.
There you go.
And, right, so it's budgeted, so,
Yes, sir.
and it will improve our training for our men and women and help with their decision-making processes. It's scenario-based, so in this one, the old one we have is just you walk in the FATS room and it's just right there in front of you. This is like a 360 degrees. So, you know, you can put a guy in there and blindfold him and take the blindfold off, and he got instant scenarios. All right, now what you do? And then to give us the opportunity to film it and critique and just make our men and women a little bit more brighter and make mental shortcuts when they're out there doing these scenarios, real live scenarios.
Okay, thank you. Any
Thank you,
Madam Mayor?
Mr. Chairman. I'm sorry, Madam Mayor, you go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much. Thanks, Chief, for the update on this VirTech. Is that how you pronounce it?
Virtual, yes.
Virtual tech, the VirTech. So what you're saying in this system will help change the vignettes, because I know when I used to take the training way back in the day, there were the same, people got used to those same videos, and you can either, we'll tell whoever was coming next, like it's the lady that's behind the grocery counter on the so-and-so. So this one will change periodically, change the vignettes so that they'll come in and they won't know what to expect.
Yes, and they constantly, this company is constantly changing them. You know, right now, you know, after a while, the ones we got in the company, when we first went into the building, this is the company we went with, and you know, they done got out of the program a little bit, so
Okay.
we stuck with that system. This system we want on, we renting it, and they taking care of everything.
Yes, sir.
You know, so
So all the maintenance and upkeep.
all of that, upgrades,
Okay,
training
good.
scenarios, all of that is taken care of, and then it's a 360 degrees. It's not just because when an officer go in a situation, he's just,
Yeah, it's
you know,
not always right in front of
right. It's not in front of them. It's all around. So they got to be on a swivel and watching and right. So
Very good, very good. Well, thanks so much, Chief. And it's budgeted, you said that.
it's
so-
budgeted. Yes,
All right,
ma'am.
thank you so much.
Okay.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir, ma'am. Councilman Adams?
Thank you, Mr. Davis. So Chief, basically, you're saying you've had that system that's in place now long enough that basically our officers have memorized it, and so it's really not a challenge anymore.
It's not a challenge. It's always breaking down, and you know, it's just it's time to pull it out.
Okay, so we've owned it since the new building was built?
Right.
Which is how old?
That's about 11 or 12 years old.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And this is something that is updated by the company that owns it. They provide us with modules and with changes in that system. We don't do anything
Yes.
except use them and hopefully get better at what we do and be
Yes.
protected.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, anyone else? Councilman Watts?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chief, I thought I heard you when you had your mic off, but I'm not sure. But I wanted to ask, is your community policing program, is there something where a citizen could go through it to see how difficult it is for officers to make decisions in the field? Is this something that would be part of a program that y'all do, or are you already doing that, or?
Exactly. Because with our, we opening up for our Citizen Police Academy, and we usually run our Citizen Police Academy through scenario-based programs like this, so they can see how hard it is and to make the decision. And, you know, we have had meeting with the clergy or whatever citizen people that we're meeting with, and I would tap 3 or 4 of them on the shoulders and take them down there, and let them go through it, and then bring them back up and let them talk about, oh man, I was down there, I didn't know I shot the people, or I blew that one. So it let them understand some of the things that officers go through when they making these checks, these quick check and balances, and thinking through a process, you know. So
It would be nice to, when we do have citizens go through the academy and maybe partake in this program, maybe they would come to a city council meeting and let the public hear just how difficult it is.
we'll see if we can set that up.
job.
Yes, sir.
Okay, anyone else?
Mr. Chairman, I just
Yes,
want to say,
ma'am.
we splintered off in another conversation, but Chief, I saw on the website or the Facebook page the other day that you opened up applications for people for the Citizens Police Academy.
Yes, so that's on our web page, so go there and sign up, and it's a way that our citizens can see how we serve them from different divisions within the police department, so.
And how long is the program?
I think it's 10 weeks.
That's a
And
long
we
time.
I think it's pretty good little, we feed you.
That's a commitment, Tim. Oh, okay, well, if you feed me.
Yeah, I'm gonna feed you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Anyone else? Okay. I would like to put this on the consent agenda for Monday, if it's the council pleasure.
I see heads shaking and thumbs up, so that's a yes.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Moving right along.
Yes, sir.
Item B, authorize the mayor to sign agreement with Exxon Enterprise, Inc., to provide taser and associated service to the Douglasville Police Department. Chief Sparks, one more time.
Again, this is a budgeted item. Right now, Taser is the sole company that deal with Taser. So the deal is they want to furnish us with 95 Tasers, new out of the box, Taser 7s. And the ones that we have, they're not going to outfit them anymore. You know, they're changing over a whole new technology. So in 5 years, we'll probably be coming back to you all talking about some more Tasers. It just, you know, it just how this beast works. So right now we have 95 Tasers, so they're gonna, you know, they'll maintenance them. We break one, they'll send us another one, and we basically just, you know, we'll be renting the Tasers, and they'll take care of all the maintenance, upkeep, everything we need, and then that's what this about. It's a less lethal, and you know, we don't tase a lot of people, but they, you know, when people see you have a Taser, sometimes it's a do-right. It's people think before they start acting up a little more. So, but it's budgeted, and so.
Okay. Any question from Mayor?
I did have a question. I'm gonna put my glasses on so I can see your eyes, Chief.
Okay.
I remember we talked about this during budget time. Is budgeted those tasers that you showed us? Those were
Yes.
expensive.
Well, we
You
were
getting
paying.
you getting the
we
ones
were-
you, how
yes.
many you needed? You're getting the ones you needed?
Yes, we getting everything we need. We getting 95. They're gonna give us 95 tasers, and before we were buying them a la carte, and they were like the taser about $2,900 each.
Mm-hmm. That's what I remember. So I thought the number was astronomical, but it's within budget.
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
I
ma'am.
trust you. I'm
I
just
think
kidding. I
about
don't wanna look in your
$64,000,
eyes.
something around that. 64,000 that we paying.
Okay. We need
Yeah.
them. And hopefully we won't have to use them, but just in
Yes.
case. Yes, sir. Thanks,
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Yes. Anyone else? Madam Mayor, I'd like to place this on the consent agenda for Monday also.
Let me see. See how
Councilman
Councilman Estes had? Yes. Okay.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. And moving on to items C. Authorize the mayor to sign an equitable sharing agreement with certification with the United States Department of Justice for sharing of forfeited access.
Yes,
Chief Sparks.
this is with the Department of Justice. We get this every year. It's a document that shows how much money we receive from the Department of Justice assess forfeiture, what we use the money on, buying equipment, training. So it's just a document that we bring before you every year that you have to sign. So it's coming up again.
Okay. But no cars.
We
buy
can
some
buy equipment. We can buy cars and radars. Yes, ma'am. Matter of fact, we're getting ready to buy some more radar equipment. So,
And body cam too.
well, when we first got body
I'm sorry, Mr.
cams.
Chairman, I'm just talking.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's fine.
when I bought the first body cams for the city
Yes, sir.
out of this money,
Okay.
out of drug funds. I think may have bought like 25 body cams. Yes, ma'am. So,
Okay.
so long as it's dealing with equipment, training, and we could do things with youth against violence, is doing something to promote safety within the community. Department of Justice. We could use some of that drug fund. Now the thing of it is, how much money we picking up from the drug.
Right.
All of that. So we try to watch that money because, we hadn't been really making any big hits out there on the street.
And the other question I had, I know when we were having our quarterly meetings with you and I, Madam Chair and the Sheriff, we were talking about these drug fund resources, and there was a portion, have we worked that out with the share that the Sheriff's Department has and the City of Douglasville, that you and Sheriff Pounds?
I'm trying to recall.
Because he said something about, if we had the city police and then the Sheriff's
Oh,
Department.
yes.
Yes, sir.
He was talking about the fine unit.
Okay.
And, yes, we got it worked out because, it's, like I told him, these are agreements that we had. If I had one guy down there, my guy hit it, I'm going to give him the money that due him.
Okay, so
You
you're
know,
not
we're not
splitting it.
gonna-
Whoever's working gets the
Yeah, we splitting it. It'll go,
60.
I think 45, and the DA gets some for, seizing the funds.
Okay.
And that's just for seizures in the city and the county. That's not dealing with the Department of
That's
Justice.
Okay.
That's a different,
That's a different
Right.
pot. This is just with Department of Justice
yes,
resources.
because we have a guy that's assigned to the DEA. So when he sees something with the DEA, we get a percentage.
Okay,
So that's that money.
okay. So that's a different issue.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thanks so much. Thanks, Mr. Chairman. I
Anyone else?
apologize for jumping in and talking.
Oh, that's fine. Chief, are there a website or email that we can look at what's being purchased with the forfeit funds?
No, we don't put it on the website. But I can let you know what we have this report. We don't put this report on our website. The mayor see the report, and you all see the report.
Okay.
So when we get ready to send it to the Department of Justice, you see what we spend it on.
Okay, good. All right, do we have to put this on the consent agenda, or we just, okay,
Head shaker.
all right. All right, moving right along. Item D, consider a request for open container days in the entertainment district from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. on August 21st, 2021, application by Karen Clark, Southern Sisters Entertainment, LLC. Ms. White.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Brianna
evening.
White, Main Street Coordinator, 6701 Church Street. So as you know, open container days allow for alcohol to be consumed on public sidewalks and outdoor areas within the entertainment district boundaries. Southern Sisters Entertainment LLC has applied to enact an open container day and host an event in downtown Douglasville, from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. on August 21st, 2021. And we have Ms. Karen Clark here today to discuss her item.
Okay. Good evening.
Hello, my name is Maya Walker, and I reside at 1400
Excuse me, you have
Commerce
to
Boulevard.
speak up. Yes,
I'm
a little bit
Maya
in the mic.
Walker, and I reside at 1400 Commerce Boulevard. I'd like to thank you all for listening to us as we discuss about what we're trying to do in Douglasville, the city council and the mayor. We are Southern Sisters Entertainment, an organization of 7 women who focus on bringing the community together to foster a sense of unity. This is done with a live community service event, parties, podcasts, etc. The event we would like to host in Douglasville would be a bar crawl / bar hop type experience. This requires customers to purchase a ticket to participate in this event. With the tickets, the customer will be able to visit various participation establishments. The establishments will be offering drinks, specials, food specials, or a combination of both at a discount price only for those who purchase tickets. We would like to also allow vendors to set up in the O'Neill Plaza so customers can shop freely with local small businesses throughout this event. The last hour or so of the event will take place primarily in the O'Neill Plaza area with a DJ music or a live band while they shop and network. The dates we're looking at is Saturday, August the 21st. If this does not work with City Council, we are open to look at different dates in September as well.
Hello, my name is Kendra Ruffin, 4507 Mill Place. The event that we're looking at for the different establishments are within walking distances of each other, so the customers can park freely and walk from venue to the next venue. Once this is confirmed that we are approved for this event, we will be moving forward and we will contact the establishments to confirm their participation and solidify with O'Neill Plaza our plans as well. We will also be posting this event on our different social media platforms, networking groups, messages, boards, word of mouth, and other physical marketing materials if needed.
Thank you all for your interest. Have you spoken with any of the restaurants?
We have
Tito's,
Fabiano's
Fabiano's
and Broad Street.
Okay. And how many people are you expecting? You say you're going to the website, 500, 600?
No, between 50 and 70.
And name an organization?
Southern Sisters Entertainment.
You all been in different locations doing this event?
We picked Douglasville because they're like more of a supportive.
Now, where you all from?
I live in Anniston, Alabama.
And you?
I'm from the Atlanta area.
Okay. Okay, Mayor and Council. Yes, ma'am, Madam Mayor.
Yes, sir. Thank you all so much for presenting. You did give your addresses, but you didn't say the city, because I'm trying to recognize the streets.
Yeah.
Atlanta.
Yeah, I'm in
Doesn't it?
Anniston, Alabama. It's 1400 Commerce Boulevard. I'm a local business owner there.
Okay, in Anniston, Alabama, and Atlanta, the city of Atlanta. Okay, so, so you're requesting the open container days. Do we require, Ms. White, do we require pouring license, or just because they're using our restaurants, they just have to have the permit for the day?
Yes, ma'am. So it's just it just allows for each restaurant. So it's only in the restaurant. It's not outside of the restaurant that they would be pouring. Is that what you're asking?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yeah, it's just inside the restaurant, and this just allows for the bar crawl effect. They can walk outside with the alcohol, but it's only poured in the restaurants.
Okay, so can they drink during the entertainment district? Are there going to be those bands? How are we going to
Yes,
delineate?
ma'am. Yes, so that's what the entertainment district does. So it just, and even if they partner with certain restaurants, how it was created, it opens it up to anyone in the entertainment district. So all restaurants that have alcohol licenses in the entertainment district will be given the opportunity to participate. I give them wristbands, depends on the color, so we can kind of make sure that everyone's up to par, but it makes sure that the bartenders are IDing people, and if they want to participate and go outside with their beverage, they get a wristband. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and the name of the event is Bar Hop?
Bar Crawl, Southern Sisters Bar Crawl.
Bar Crawl?
Crawl.
Crawl, Bar Crawl. Do you have any, don't laugh at me. Do you have any, like a flyer or some statistics of where you've done this before and it's been successful, or anything that we could see? Or it's
This
just
is
vision?
actually our first one.
Oh, okay.
We had an event in Piedmont, but it was just like
Our kickoff party, yeah.
ambassadors, people who support our organization. But we tried to do it in Alabama. Alabama has a little bit stricter liquor laws, so we was looking at Douglasville as a possibility.
Okay. The Clarks, you know your name is the Clark sisters, Karen Clark, and y'all doing drinks.
That's Karen.
Okay. Okay. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Councilman Adams?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a logistics question. I guess it'd be logistics. You all are from another city and/or another state coming into our city to put on an event. Is there a requirement that they be business owners locally and/or that they have a business license in our community?
Now, we do have a business license for Georgia. The combination of the people, of the 7 women are 5 from Georgia, and 2 of them are from Alabama. The business itself resides in Georgia. The business license, all that information resides in Georgia. We're just part of the organization being from Anniston.
Okay.
In Georgia, but not in Douglasville.
Well, we do have a member that does reside in Douglasville.
Oh,
Do you have when you say you have a business license in the state of Georgia, are you talking about a corporate registration?
We have our EIN number, we have our state registration. Is that what you're referring to? We have both of those.
We have our state license.
Maybe between now and Monday, Lynn, if we could ascertain what they have and whether or not they need a business license from the city to operate, get this event for you.
That's all that I had.
Okay, anyone else?
Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, we're going to table this item for further notice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, moving on to item A, adopt the ordinance to impose maximum speed limit on additional city streets and roadways. Mr. Thompson.
Marcus Thompson, City Engineer, 6701 Church Street. All right, so the item before you this evening is a revision to the current speed limit ordinance to add several city streets that were mentioned at the 5 o'clock committee's meeting, along with the new State Route 92 bypass. Just want to reiterate that all speed limits have been posted and should remain as is, with the exception for the new State Route 92, which would be decreased to 45 miles per hour. Are there any further questions?
Mayor, Council, Madam Mayor?
I thought that Mr. Adams was going to say something since he had the Hawkeye. Are you going to have the speed limits corrected, the ones that say 36 rather than 35 and 46 and 45?
Yes, ma'am.
For Monday? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. So, Michael, so you're going all over the city and make sure we correct all the speed limit?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Anyone else? Yours correct?
They did it?
Okay.
They did it already?
So, if no other questions, I'd like to make a motion, we put this on the consent agenda for Monday, so we can start checking the speeds.
I'm trying to see heads and
Thumbs up?
looks like it's a go.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, wait a
Mr.
minute.
Chairman, so
Yeah.
long as we have the correct speed limits there.
Right.
So long as we have the correct speed limits changed. Problem is, we won't see this again on Monday if it goes on the consent
So
agenda.
we want to, let's see it again on Monday, how about that? Yeah, the
That would be
change.
my position on it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, because we had asked you earlier to make the change. Come back on Monday and, okay?
Yes, sir.
That's all I have, Madam Mayor, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you so much, Mr. Thompson. We'll move on to the next committee, which is Recreation, Culture, and Tourism Committee. That's chaired by Councilmember Chris Watts.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have no business under Recreation, Culture, and Tourism, and I wasn't, just for the record, I wasn't laughing at you. I'll tell you after the meeting what made me chuckle, so.
Okay. Oh, you're fine. I just, it was a little, I did. I thought it was Councilman Adams. Okay, yes, sir. Technology Committee is normally chaired by Councilmember Terry Miller, but I will ask, Mayor Pro Tem, I'll ask Councilmember Nicole Miller to take this committee, if you don't mind, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
We do have 2 items under the Technology Committee. The first is to authorize the mayor to sign a quote from G2G Fiber in acknowledgement of the charges and fees of $64,360 for the installation of underground internet fiber in the vicinity of City Hall and extending to the future amphitheater site. And I believe, hey, we have Sam to talk to us about that. Thank you, Sam.
All right. Hello, Mayor,
Good
Madam Mayor,
evening.
Council. Sam Jenkins, IT Manager, 6695 Church Street. So the first item is to, for us to actually bury or run underground fiber from City Hall down to Courthouse Square, and from Courthouse Square down to the new amphitheater. So this right here will also serve as the network backbone to light up and get connected down at Town Hall as well.
Question, Sam. Is that the work that's going on right now?
So what's going on now is actually AT&T doing their work. So we tried to have them help us with this project as well, which that one, they wouldn't help us out because they got it subcontracted. So we had to go out and get another company to pretty much run the city fiber.
Okay, gotcha. Questions, comments, council? No?
Madam Chair, I do have a question concerning the financing or the money. Is this budgeted as a part of the line item that we had allocated for utilities extensions in that area?
Yes, sir, it is. Yeah,
Okay,
this
so it's
one
already in the
item
budget?
Yes, sir. So this one item that we brought to you guys during budget meeting, during the budget hearing.
Okay.
Thank you.
And thank you for that. Being as how Mayor Pro Tem is not here, do you guys want to wait until Monday to discuss this one again?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you very much. And looks like you can hang tight because we have one more item, and that is to authorize the mayor to sign an agreement with Customer Security Services for the installation, cost, and service fee of security systems provided to the city.
Okay, so this one right here is for the Club Drive. This right here is to add security system and monitoring for Club Drive. So before Parks and Rec started moving equipment in, we would like to have this under security.
Gotcha. And then,
So we currently now use the same company who we're going to use for the rest of the facility for the city.
okay. And so it looks like it's the $970 installation, but we pay that quarterly?
Yeah, so there's
Am I
an
reading this
install,
right?
so there's an install fee as well, so for them to bring out the, all the sensor they're gonna put in the windows and things that low, and also the control module. We did have some incident happen at one of the facility already, but nothing was in there. That's why we really want to lock this building down. This is the building to the rear of Club Drive, so we're also going to be monitoring that building as well.
Okay. Questions, comments? Yes, sir.
Yes, Madam Chair, just want to clarify, it looks as though we're spending $1,465 for the install of the new equipment in that facility.
Right.
And then the $89.85 quarterly for the monitoring.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay, so.
And then an annual service fee of $718?
So that's what it would be annually.
Okay.
Annually.
And that's in addition to the monitoring fee?
No, that is the monitoring fee.
Okay.
The annual cost.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Madam Mayor.
I do. Thank you so much, Madam Chair. Mr. Jenkins, is this budgeted or this is new? Because this used to be Mr. Gregg's area for Public Works, and we've had, like you said, we had someone that use it as an overnight stay. We had
Right.
some people break in the area, so we do need to have some security there. So is it budgeted or this is new because of what's occurring?
This is a new item because of the
Okay.
things that have been occurring down there.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Anyone else? And again, since we don't have our chairman here, and since it's a dollar amount that we did not budget, are you guys okay with waiting till Monday to discuss this again? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much, Sam.
Thank you, guys.
All right, Madam Mayor, that is all that we had this evening for technology.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you taking that committee. Transportation Committee, Councilmember Davis, would you please take that? I think you're the vice chair.
No items at this time, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Do we have any other business to come before committees tonight from council members? I don't see any. Then we'll move on then to updates from city staff. Our city attorney, Mr. Joel Dotson.
No business, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Our staff attorney, Ms. Lynn Woodward.
No business tonight, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Our chief of police, Chief Sparks.
We will be having National Night Out August the 3rd at Fowler Field off Chapel Hill from 5 to 8. And just want the public to come out, and plus we'll be talking about it some more. It's a national law enforcement, sheriff, fire, and we're going to have people out, with showing, displaying their crafts. So we have a craft show, and so just be a fun day for people to come out and just meet their police department, sheriff, and fire.
Yes, sir. And that's at Fowler Field on the 3rd at 5 p.m.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much, Chief. The city manager's office, our assistant city manager, Ms. Chelsea Jackson.
Yes, ma'am. Just a reminder that GMA is next week. You all should have received your notebooks and your schedule from the city clerk's office. Once you review, if you have any questions, just follow up with Ms. Vicky or Ms. Candace, as well as Ms. Kristen Tate can answer any questions as it relates to that as well. So see you all next week in Savannah.
Thank you so much, Ms. Jackson. Do we have any staff reports? Ms. Chelsea? Okay. Thank you. The comments from citizens and delegates, if you'd like to come forward, if anyone's left and wanted to speak to us, you have 5 minutes to talk to us about any information that's germane to the city of Douglasville. I know, we warned them out. No, we don't have anyone. We do have an executive session, so I will open the floor for a motion to adjourn into executive session, or make a motion to adjourn into executive session to discuss a personnel matter.
So moved.
Thank you. The motion, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. It's been properly moved and second to adjourn into executive session to discuss a personnel matter. Do we need a 5-minute recess? Yes, after a 5-minute recess. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. We are adjourned into executive session to discuss a personnel matter after a short recess.